Hey, it's Tyler from Rehab to Fab Designs for Dixie Belle Paint Company, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this coffee table, and we're going to be using the new stain from Dixie Belle called Charred Hickory from the Voodoo Gel Stain line. Let's get started. First off, you're going to head over to your local hardware store. We are blessed and also cursed to live about 1 mile from our local Home Depot, so we go here for all our common needs. You're going to pick up some 2x12s, and you're also going to pick up some of these 18-gauge strap ties that were 36 inches long. You're also going to need some of these angled brackets so you can use them to secure your boards together. We used a total of 2 boards, a 2x12 by 12 foot long. We used 4 brackets and 4 of the metal strap ties. We also picked up a box of screws while we were there, and this brought us to a grand total of about $80. Not too bad for a custom built coffee table if you ask me. All right, let's get started building this thing. We started by first cutting our boards for the tabletop. For this, we used a measuring tape and a square to mark each board at 44 inches long. We did this until we had 3 boards total for the top of the table. We used a miter saw to make all the cuts. We used 1 board for the tabletop. Then the second board we used to cut all the pieces to make the legs. For the legs, we used a total of 8 boards. They were each cut at 16 inches long, and then we used them to put 2 together back to back to make a total of 4 legs. Once all the pieces were cut, I did come back and sand them all. I wasn't going for super smooth with this. I was basically just trying to knock off any edges to ensure we didn't get splinters. For that, I used a Surf Prep sander. You can use any sander you have, or you can do it by hand. And I used 150 grit sandpaper, again, just for a nice rough sand. Next, it was time to put all the pieces together. So my husband laid them all out to figure out which pieces went best with what. This was to ensure they weren't warped and to make sure they laid flat together. Once he had them paired up, we used wood glue to put on one side and then laid them on top of each other. So you're basically double stacking 2 boards here to make a nice thick leg. Next, to secure them, he used our Ryobi airstrike gun and brad nails and put 1 in each corner just to ensure that they would stay together well. Whenever you're building a piece of furniture like this, you want to make sure you're picking the best side of your wood. So I don't mind having the knots in them, but I do try to at least have the knots in the middle instead of on the edges, because that can cause issues for you. So once we had all 3 of these laid out, it was time to secure them together. So for that, we're using those metal strips. Unfortunately, the 36-inch strips that we got were a little bit too long, so he had to saw the excess off using a grinder. Make sure you wear eye protection when doing this, because little pieces of metal can fly off. To put the boards together, we're again going to be using wood glue. So he ran a line of wood glue down the seam or the side of each board and then laid them together. And then after they were lined up, he's going to use metal clamps to hold them together. But this is just until we get the metal strap ties secured to the back of the boards. To secure the strap ties, you're going to use a screw that's long enough to go through the board, but not all the way through it. So I think we used 1 1/4 inch. We laid all 4 of the strap ties on the back of the table and spaced them out evenly. And then we came in with a drill and just put each screw into the strap ties. Now we only put 4 screws total in each one, because that was plenty enough to hold these 3 boards together. Once they were all in place, we could remove the clamps. To attach the table legs to the tabletop, we not only used the brackets that you saw earlier in the video, but we also drilled some pocket holes in some of the boards. The reason we did this is because I didn't want the brackets to show on the outside of the table. So basically they're underneath and on the inside in between the two legs, and then on the outside we have the pocket holes. That way we did not see the metal brackets once the table was put together. You'll see what I mean here in just a minute. For the brackets, we used 1 1/4 inch screws to drill into the wood on either side, so on the underside of the table and then on the leg itself. For the pocket holes, we used a 2 1/2 inch screw to drill through the leg and into the tabletop. And here's what it looks like once the legs were attached to the tabletop. Super cute, very rustic. However, we're going to make it a little more rustic by beating this thing up and making it look super distressed. For that, we're using a hammer and a wood chisel. And as you can see here, my husband's just taking that chisel and hammering it in and just taking big chunks out on it and also making indentations in it, using both the chisel to hammer it in and also the back side or the claw of the hammer itself. Again, just to give this kind of a weathered old farmhouse look. Once he was happy with the amount of distressing he did, he came back with 150 grit sandpaper and a sanding sponge just to run over it to knock off some of those sharper edges. Next was the fun part. It's time for stain. For this, we are using a brand new stain from Dixie Belle Paint Company. This is in their Voodoo Gel Stain line. It's a water-based stain, so it's super friendly and easy to use. This one is called Charred Hickory, and I think it's my absolute favorite new stain color. I'm super jealous and wish I had done my dining room table that I just did in this color, but it wasn't out yet. So we put 1 coat total on that using a blue sponge, also from Dixie Belle, following the grain of the wood. Once that was done, we put 2 coats of top coat on it. For that, we're using Clear Coat by Dixie Belle in flat sheen, so it's not super shiny. And this table ended up so pretty. It is the perfect color and it's beautifully distressed, and I'm just in love with it. See what you guys think and let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure and follow along with Rehab to Fab Designs as well as Dixie Belle Paint Company. Make sure you click on the bell to turn on notifications and subscribe to both our YouTube channels.